What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today it's gonna be a recap or FX replay backtesting session. I actually haven't done one of these in a minute, so this is gonna be interesting. But obviously still want to prove to you guys that my strategy works. It will always work as long as price action isn't within a certain range, like a very small range, and as long as we have good consistent moves, this strategy always works. Okay, so this is June 2nd. I did this because started content June 1st. That's when I posted my first ever TikTok video. So I was like, might as well go back to that date and then see how I would have been doing if I had the knowledge back then. Right now, obviously I didn't, but without any more yapping, finna get into the session. All right, okay. So again, obviously start with the higher time frames. What do we see? We see that we are currently trading above. We tap into this gap here, so this should act as our retracement right here. If we are to continue bullish, I can check ES to see if we swept this high. As you guys see, we did not, or we didn't sweep this low. Also, by the way, guys, I'm using the free version just so you guys can see like what it really looks like. I did have the premium version, but yeah, okay. This looks very very bullish. Okay, why does this look very bullish? We're respecting a higher time frame gap. We are also tapping into this 1 hour gap, and as you guys can see, we never truly inversed it because we never closed below it. Okay, so this low should be considered as high resistance liquidity. Okay, because if we are bullish, which my bias is, we should not come and resweep this low today. We could resweep it on the day after the session, but we should not at all resweep this low. Yes. Could we resweep this low? Yes. But should we resweep this low? No, not at all. Reason being is, if we are bullish, again, that should count as our retracement leg. If we resweep that, then that wasn't our true retracement leg, and then we're not truly bullish. Okay, so the reason this is because we never, I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, we don't close, or we do. Okay, we close, but again, right? Like, we see this positive, like, this is a good note, right? Just because we inverse this 1 hour gap doesn't really mean that much, considering that even though we inversed it, we just literally right after we inversed almost all of these gaps right here. Okay, and because of that, that literally just shows that we filled orders, and then price is showing its true colors, filling more orders and inversing sellers in this price range. Okay, so definitely looking bullish on the day. Scaling to the 15-minute time frame, these are London low, and then we have Asia high. I'm only marking these two levels out because we haven't taken them. Do we have another high time frame gap that we could look for? We have this 30-minute gap here. Okay, or no, wait, I'm bugging. No. Okay, after, I'm just gonna turn off this indicator really quick. Can I unclick it? Oh, right here. Okay. My bad, guys. I haven't used this in a while. Yeah, no gap here. 15-minute time frame. We have this gap. Again, we inverse it, and that's not like a bad sign, but it's also definitely not a good sign, right? Like, it's not a bad sign that we inverse the 15-minute gap, because when everything else is pointing bullish, there's no reason for us to be looking at one specific gap. Okay. Just checking for a potential SMT off of these lows here. Let's see if we have one. No, we don't. Again, as you guys see, we do not sweep the low. So, right, no gap to really tap into here. Do we have like anything else that we need to truly look at? No. Potentially we see a 5-minute gap here. We make with we make with the 8:30 central, so the market open candle like this. Come tap in, fill in orders, and then take out the high. That would be ideal. Hopefully we just don't take out this in the first 5-minute candle. Again, I'm going to sim the first 5 minutes because I never trade in the first 5 minutes. It has never brought me good results, and it usually does not bring you good results, most likely too, so I just don't trade it. Again, like I called it, boom. Actual, wow, what a Drake candle. You could have taken, like, I don't know, like, you could have just, like, wow, we actually took out everything. All right, cool. We have this high here, okay? So now I was gonna say you could take like really scalper entries, but that's not like following this model, so to say. I know people who are scalpers and who take stuff like that, but that doesn't like make sense to me personally with this model, because if you're willing to take a low RR trade, I still see the potential of price retracing lower, or I just don't fully understand it. I'm way rather taking higher quality but higher risk setups than multiple trades that are lower risk. Okay, so we now have all of these relative highs, and you could be saying, yeah, maybe we swept all of this low resistance liquidity here. Well, we didn't truly sweep all of it, because we still have this high here, right, and this high here. So we have relatively equal highs and a high over that, and an unfilled 4-hour BPR, mind you. Okay, so very, very interested price. Okay, especially if we're seeing this type of momentum off of the first 5-minute candle, we're for sure gonna skyrocket into it. Okay, so I'm gonna go minute by minute here, see if we can get some type of retracement. Looking hopefully into a 5-minute gap. Nope, we just took out those highs. Yikes. Okay, no retracement so far. We have a... Okay, I'm looking for a tap into this 5-minute gap. Once we see a tap into this 5-minute gap, looking for... Boom, that's our tap. Okay, highest time frame inversion would be... Oh, yep, free version. Would be this 1 minute if we do form a 1 minute here, which we most likely will. Okay, if we see this inversion, I would be willing to take this trade. Now you guys might be arguing, I'm going to say this before I take this trade. Why would you take this trade if we took out these highs and then we're going to retrace back into the gap? Okay, like I mentioned earlier, if we are looking bullish on every single time frame, where could we possibly retrace to? We shouldn't retrace. Okay, we shouldn't retrace more than this gap, because if we inverse this 1 minute, that will prove that we're going to continue higher. Okay, but if we shouldn't inverse it and then retrace lower, because if we retrace lower, I'm not going to know until where we're going to retrace to, and then by that point I'm not going to be willing to be in the trade, because then I'm going to have a super like loose stop loss. That's not what we're looking for. Okay, so again, I don't even know if we're going to inverse this. Most likely no. Okay, again, like we just didn't inverse it, so now I can't even say anything. Okay, what would make me change my bias? Gonna go over this for those of you who... This was honestly one of my biggest problems, is sometimes I feel like even now to this day I really like want to work on not mirroring a bias. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, but you gotta look at when, if what thing gets inversed, like if what gap gets inversed, that will prove to you that we are bearish. Okay, so if I see this 5-minute gap get inverse, then I will most likely turn bearish. Why? Because we swept these highs, and you're like, Mish, you just said it. If we retrace, and then we see price go higher, why wouldn't we do that? Because if we're gonna respect a 1-minute gap like this, shoot straight down, and then inverse a 5-minute time frame gap, and have a V-shaped recovery like this, cool. If not, and we inverse this gap, then I'm looking for a break even off of this high here, and then I'm looking to target the relative high above it. Okay, but if not, that's cool too. You really got to react to how market or what market is giving you and not predict it. Okay, so gonna go on the 5-minute time frame, or actually let me turn it on so I can see until the candle closes, because it's gonna annoy me. Bro, what? How do you do this? Sorry for wasting your guys' cancel. Okay. Okay. So the 5-minute candle just closed, which means I'll be wanting to see a reaction. Okay, 5-minute, boom. Okay, perfect. If we could see this. Okay. Tap. Now, what is this showing us? Crazy strong V shape. What are we looking at? I would honestly be willing to take a setup like this here, because why am I looking to take this? If we inverse, I know there's so many gaps on the screen. I apologize. I would be willing to take this. Why? Tap into this 5-minute gap. Crazy strong V-shaped recovery out this gap. Okay. What do we see? Do we see any SMT with ES? Interesting. We see a very big SMT. Very, very big. Like, okay, so like we almost come close to sweeping this low that I said was high resistance liquidity, but we don't. Okay. What do we see? We see those lows on S&P. As you guys can see, I'm pretty sure it's this low. We do not sweep it. Okay, so that's their SMT. Beautiful. If we inverse this 1 minute gap, like we just do, I'm willing to enter here. Stop loss. I'll go at the body because, again, we shouldn't even go retrace that low in the first place. And I'm just going to target this high here. My break even is going to be at this 5 minute unfilled BPR. Beautiful. Boom, boom, boom. Really good setup for me. Not mad if I take a loss on this. Because why? We have a tap into a gap, V-shaped recovery, SMT, high time frame inversion, with strong draws and liquidity or an unfilled time frame gap above. Okay, so I'm gonna buy 10. Not looking at like whatever the risk management. Boom, boom. Okay. There's our break even. Now we're just gonna let this play out. I don't know. We'll most likely get stopped out break even here just because it's already pretty late into the session. Or no, it's actually decently, but the price action has just, as you guys can see, been very choppy. But let's see what we do. Yeah, we've been in this trade for way too long right now. It's been over hour and a half, but I'm just gonna let this play out just to show you guys that it's probably gonna hit now. Hold the edge. And boom. All right, TP hit. Beautiful. A plus setup, really. A plus setup. Can't ask for anything else. Again, you could have targeted this. Reason I didn't is because this week, especially in trading, I've been getting edged so much. So I'm willing to take a couple points off and get that sure TP. But again, what do we see? We could do a little trade recap here. Tap into a 5 minute gap. Crazy SMT with ES. NQ is predicting that we're going higher. V-shaped recovery. High time from inversion. Beautiful. Unfilled 5 minute BPR here. Then we just take it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is what the BG Blueprint is all about, okay? So, low-key, oh, bro, when did it get 1036? 1036, damn. All right, that's what you lock in. When you lock in flow state, boom. I do low-key want to do one more for you guys just to show you. Okay. Remove drawings. How do you... Bro, I haven't used this in so long. I'm actually so lost. I know you could go to... Oh, right here. Go to... Custom settings. Start of New York session. 9:30, bro. Okay. Go to New York session. Boom. Beautiful. Alright. What are we looking at? Okay. So, from the time that we took our last trade, we literally took it to... Yeah, I think it was like up here, and then we fall back. Inverse this gap, but it does seem like a pretty fair retracement. Into what? Not really a gap, honestly. Yeah, no gap to be retraced here. So, in a situation like this, I mean, it's pretty clear that we're bullish, okay? Like, when you look at this, especially like just this right here, I mean, it looks like a pure continuation model of just boom, boom, boom. Like, literally going up, filling orders, filling an imbalance. But in this case, we don't have an imbalance, and then just taking more orders higher, okay? Looking bullish. I mean, just off of this, call me a pattern trader all you want, but I mean, it just looks bullish off of this. No, I'm not a pattern trader. Again, just for the daily bias reasons. Again, you could argue, well, we did inverse this 1 hour gap, but how are we reacting to this 1 hour gap? If we were to inverse this and then shoot down, right? Maybe I could be looking for, I don't know, maybe like an hourly gap or something else, some low to get swept, but we're filling orders, okay? So I honestly would be looking bullish, but if market tends to like this high in the first candle like we did the day before this and then shoot straight down, I wouldn't even be opposed of taking shorts to here. Reason being is, bro, didn't you just give us a lecture on how you were just bullish? Yes, but when you look at this, what do you have? A bunch of sell orders up here, okay? Now, does that really matter? It really matters how price reacts to it, okay? If we preferably, we would like to see price come down here and ideally sweep these lows and then look for some type of continuation model to these highs. But most likely what's going to happen, and what I predict happening in this first 5 minute candle, is that we just sweep we just sweep it. Okay, beautiful. So that's going to make me look for how are we reacting to this, okay? First of all, we can check MES, or the S&P. Beautiful. Oh my God, bro. This is so peak compared to this price action. Oh, we didn't form an S&P. Never mind. Regardless, swept it. What are these? New York PM highs. How do we react? Fill orders in versus gap. Now, this would be a beautiful setup if you take this inversion. However, it's in the first 5 minutes of market open, and therefore not going to take it. But look at this now. If we're looking to short, we have lows here. Beautiful. Trying to find this highest time frame gap. What do we have? You could have taken a change in state of delivery, but again, I would rather just wait for something like this gap to get inversed to prove that we are bearish, right? Yeah, I mean, there's no other gap. Yeah, okay, so I mean, if we inverse this 3 or 1 minute gap, would be fine with taking shorts down to break even to this level and then have an unfilled hourly gap, like beautiful, and then taking it to the lows. Let's just see how we react. Okay, that's not a good sign. That just means that we filled orders, respected this gap, and now we're looking to move forward, okay? So again, it's all about reading how the price reacts. Now, if we're seeing that we're inversing bearish orders, should we be bullish? What does this mean, Mish? Beautiful, we inversed it, okay? So am I looking for longs now? Simple answer is yes and no. Not necessarily. Like I'd want to see more confirmation, but I mean, at the same time, if we're inversing this gap, I wouldn't just like this wick, right? If we inversed it cleanly in this one candle, I'd be like, cool, take longs all you want because we have this V-shaped recovery. Another confluence that we could look at is again an SMT. So we sweep the 827 low on NASDAQ. The answer is yes. Did we on? No. Okay. All right. There's our SMT. So now, I would be willing to take this trade. I would just want to wait for just some more, like, just a strong 1 minute closure. Like, okay, here, perfect. Now that we have this, we tap into this gap. And what are we seeing? We could potentially look for an equilibrium of this range. We could be like, all right, if we come down to this level and then see a inspection out of it, we could take that. But we could also look at just a change in state of delivery now off of this high. And then see, like, if we have a strong candle closure, I'd be willing to say, beautiful, bro. Long here, stop loss, the bottom of this here, break even, very short break even, but here, and then TP will literally, because we don't have like a specific range, it's just gonna be trailing it. So it could be whatever. We'll just trail after we take out this high, okay? So buy, stop loss here. Only putting it here because if we are to continue bullish, there's no reason for us to, right, come down and fill more orders, okay? Pretty common, but all right. 1 minute, boom. We'll just go break even, or I'll just go like here because probably would have got break even, so I'm not even gonna really like count this, but just let's just see what happened. All right, boom. Would have got break even on that just because we would have taken this and then I would have went break even. Nothing you can really do about it, but not a bad trade. Let's see how price reacts. We'll most likely either shoot straight up or shoot straight down off of this level. Yeah, nice. Okay, like, again, like, we weren't wrong, but is this a trade I want to be in? No, not really, because, right, there's no reason for us to tap into this gap again. Nothing specific for that. But overall, really, really good setups. Beautiful examples of what can actually happen when you follow your strategy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna hold you guys here any much longer. I hope you learned something from this video. So yeah, have a great rest of your day. Whatever time you're watching this, it is currently 10:43. So yeah, and I'll catch y'all boys in the next one. Peace out.